All right, welcome everybody to Cycle Jerks Podcast, episode 139. I'm joined today, as always, with the lovely and talented Dave Dalton.
Holla, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And we're stoked today to be joined by Giant Ambassador Devin Debruhl. Devin is he's a guy that rides all the bikes. That's one of the things that I appreciate about him, but his skill set's wide ranging but he really's got a problem with berms. Apparently it's just hurting berms at every chance he gets. It's pretty phenomenal, fun to watch. So Devin, welcome to the
If
podcast.
it was if it was a
What's
multiple
up? Best to
choice,
be here.
Yeah.
if it was a multiple choice question, I would have gotten that right by the Rock Shock sign in the back. So I would
Oh
have
yeah.
guessed that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, why don't you tell us where you're joining us from right now?
Yeah, so I'm here at Main Street Cycles in Santa Maria, California, so the Central Coast, pretty much right in between San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara. And yeah, here at the shop we carry Giant bicycles and also
Nice.
Trek bikes. A few
Okay.
other brands. Got Sunday BMX and S&E. So good variety here.
Yeah, right
so
on.
the weather down that way, the weather must really suck. It's a terrible climate down that way.
Yeah, it was like 60 this morning, 75 right now. Kind of a
Rough.
bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds rough.
Devin, look at this.
It was all crooked, Dave, with your filter on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's crooked anyways, it's my arthritis. So
So Devin, we always like to try to, with our guests, we want to find out when did you get involved with riding bikes, and did you start real young or did it come later in life? So can you tell us a little bit about how you got going?
Yeah, for me, it started just really early, I guess, because my dad, or actually my mom, even when she was a teenager and stuff, she was into cycling, just road bikes. And then she met my dad, and my dad was into honestly like arena cross and dirt bikes. He
Okay.
was all into that scene, and he did BMX racing as a kid. So when I was a kid, he's like, we got to do BMX racing. That's what he did and started out on. He's like OG BMX, all about it.
Mhm.
So then, he started racing again when I was a kid, and then I started riding at like 3, but raced BMX at 5, and then
Wow.
I raced BMX from 5 to 15 years old.
Okay.
whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then in the meantime, my dad was like, "Oh, like he's super like we were super into it, like both of us. We would actually compete and travel across the country and stuff for BMX racing. Honestly, my dad got better results than me, but still, like I was into it.
Yeah.
And then I also rode moto during that like time frame of racing BMX. That's kind of
Okay.
where it all started, was just BMX racing and dirt bikes. And I had a lot of friends like my age, obviously into BMX racing, but they all had the older siblings, and they were all into like dirt jumping and BMX street. So I had like a street bike and did dirt jumping and all that too. So that's
Right.
kind of like my base, I guess.
We're only 3 minutes into this thing, and I don't want to get all sentimental, but bringing up a point that we've talked about before in the past, right? I mean, it's something he got to do with his dad, right?
Yeah.
And how cool is that? I've said that all along, like mountain biking, get an e-bike and ride as a family. It's so cool. That must have been an awesome experience. I love my dad and all, and he used to come to all my baseball games, and occasionally we'd have a catch, but it's not like we were actually doing something together, and that must have been,
Yeah.
especially if you're traveling all over, that must have been an incredible experience.
Yeah, like definitely.
Assuming you liked your dad. I am just
Yeah,
throwing
yeah, yeah. No, I do. It's still okay. No.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it was definitely like really cool. Just traveling and being on, like, we were on like the same team, like the Great Hill production team, GHP,
Oh, wow.
OG BMX guy.
Oh,
So like
man.
he supported us. Yeah. So it was just really fun, growing up and doing all that, and camp trips obviously for moto, and yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've got a
Cool.
Greg Hill story for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I grew up BMX, racing BMX and in NorCal. And the in NorCal, we always kind of had a chip on our shoulder about the Southern California guys because the magazines were down there. They were getting all kinds of run, always in the magazine. It was always SoCal, SoCal, SoCal. And it was kind of irritating. It's like as a NorCal, we had a good scene up here too, but we didn't have any coverage. And so anytime that there would be a big national, some of the SoCals would come up and us in NorCal, maybe the SoCals didn't even care, but the NorCals, it was like, oh, we're going to give it to the SoCals,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was like this long history with Perry Kramer, Greg Hill, some of the other guys, Scott Bradop and Bronco Beckering, bunch of these guys, right? And
Yeah.
so we would always just be running smack, and it was healthy, but there was an edge to it, though. Like no one ever
Yeah.
fought or anything, but there was definitely an
Yeah.
edge. It was all just petty jealousy. But anyway, so one year we're at the uh, nat we're in Las Vegas at the World Championships in Las Vegas. It's at the Tropicana, and it was pretty dope. It was like it was in the bottom level of the hotel. I think it was a parking structure, but they had closed circuit TV, and so you could be in your room and watch the racing. It was all
That's
broadcasted through the. Yeah, back then, I mean, that was like cool
yeah.
because
That's
BMX was nothing back then, right?
yeah.
But so my buddy and I were standing behind this berm, and Greg Hill is they just watered the track, and Greg Hill, he was pretty easy to despise back then. He used to ride around the track with like this hipster jacket on, you know, and
Hmm.
so me and my buddy are just talking crazy shit about him as he's riding around the track, and there's the berm was all wet. He comes into the berm and he just like roosts us, like just like kind of like yeah, how you hit a berm, but just this dirt just flies up. But I mean, it really didn't get us dirty or anything, but it was just like whoa.
Yeah.
And so then the next time we had like these dirt claws, we're gonna like hit him. We were thinking like, okay, I'm gonna hit him with this dirt claws. And but then the track officials got onto us, and we didn't end up doing probably for the best. Yeah, but Greg and I always, I mean, yeah, like I say, all those SoCal guys, we always just had a little chip on our shoulder, but we had good times too. We had this jump area known as the Creek, and just amazing jumps. And they'd come here for the nationals, and then we'd take them to the jumps, and it was just dope, getting them
That's
to
so cool.
ride our jumps and see what they could do.
Where were
Yeah.
your jumps, Mike?
It was right along by Granada High School. It's just this area. There's a bike path that goes by there, but it was known as the creek because there was usually dry creek, but running water. And
Yeah.
yeah, we had like a generator and a pump, and we could wet it down, and we really worked that area. It was a good zone for a lot of years. But
That's like the best. Like when a BMX track has like dirt jumps or a pump track like right next to it, like
oh yeah,
that's killer. Because like my favorite place to race as a kid was Fresno at the Woodward Park. It's still
oh
there,
yeah,
but we would race that BMX track and just like it was the best weekend ever. There's just like all those pump tracks and that like tabletop jump line
oh
down
yeah.
pretty much runs along the freeway, the whole dirt jump patch. Like
That
yeah, we would always
tabletop that
race.
tabletop jump line is like an endurance event. It's like
Yeah,
I think there's like 40 of them or something. It's
yeah.
insane. Yeah, and
It's
the last ones are pretty good size. You start off on these little tiny guys, and then it
mhm.
progressively gets bigger. And the last ones, I mean, they're probably 25 footers. Pretty
Yeah,
pretty
they're
legit.
decent.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know Tanner McKeon?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So he's been on the podcast before. He's a rep for Bosch. He's like a tech
Oh,
rep for Bosch E-Systems and does clinics all around NorCal. But he actually manages. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he managed the dirt jump because there was that tabletop line, but then there was also some like legit proper steep and deep dirt jumps. And Tanner built all those. He ran that for years. And yeah, anyway, I thought you guys might have crossed paths, but he's a good dude for sure. But okay, so how'd
All right,
you?
so he turns
Oh, go ahead.
15. Hold on a second. He turns 15. You said you race BMX. What happens then? Do you move on to a different discipline? Do you just get tired you're burnt out, you move on to something else, or what happens?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't like burnt out or tired of BMX racing. Like that's essentially what I wanted to do was like be, professional BMX racer like from day one. Um, but like once when I was in, I think it was eighth grade, the high school cross country team was popping off. Like they've been around, but there was like more kids, and I knew a couple kids on it. And the coach was like, "Yo, come ride with us," like. And Tony, he was the high school coach at the time, and he's like, "Oh, these BMX kids, all they want to do is dirt jump. They got no endurance." He's always kind of like that. Then because he's seen dirt jumpers in the BMX crowd try to do it, and they do it a couple times. They're like, "Oh, this is boring."
So
But
when you say cross country, you're talking about the cross country mountain bike team as
yes,
opposed to cross country running. Okay, and what year
yeah,
is
mountain
this?
bike team. Yeah.
Yeah, what year is this?
Uh, uh, 2016 probably.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, 2016. And yeah, so I showed up to the first practice, and I was on a 24-inch full suspension Specialized because I
Okay.
like mountain biking. I like mountain biking. I just like was into jumping because like I was like my fanboy was like Brandon Simonic.
Oh yeah.
So like I want to do BMX racing, but I always thought like the idea of like Rampage and all that was cool. So like the idea was there. I had the bike, and like all I would do is pretty much jump the mountain bike
Yeah.
as if I was in Rampage or something, even though they were just like 3 foot drops.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I showed up to that practice and like hung with the guys, and then I was kind of up with one of the older kids on varsity, Samuel, on my like little 24-inch on in eighth grade, and hung with him like the whole practice. And then Tony, the coach, is like, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
he was just like, yeah, just so convincing after that to show up to more practices and like what cross country racing even is because I didn't really know.
Hmm.
So I was just like, I just want to chase these guys down till I'm tired. So,
right.
um, so yeah, from eighth grade 2016 till about 2020, I was doing cross country mountain bike racing. The first 2 years was with the high school team, and that's all I did was eighth grade and ninth grade, just local SoCal NICA high school series.
Okay.
And then freshman year, I had like a really good season. Like I went undefeated or whatever for
Wow.
that and won states. But a couple of races, like my lap times were the fastest of the whole day, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So then the next year, I got bumped up into varsity. So sophomore year, I was racing varsity. And then in the same time, Tony, the high school coach, got me connected to Julia Village, who runs the truck fair development team at the time, or she still does. So
Hmm.
then I got in that whole mid sophomore year.
Okay.
Right. Right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a rare kind of a rare combo, to have the BMX skills and then also have a desire to go endurance. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that'd definitely separate you from a lot of riders in both genres, right? Because the cross country guys a lot of times maybe don't have the skill set, the handling skills. I'm not slamming cross country guys by any means because they definitely have good skills. A lot of them do, but not at the level where you're pushing the envelope on the skill side, and then also able to hang on the endurance side. Yeah, that puts you at a pretty good advantage.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
surprised I
think
have
that's
that
a
endurance or whatever, but
Yeah.
But Mike, I think it's a fair assessment. I mean, when I look at a lot of the mountain bike team, and again, you know how I feel about San Ramon and Monte Vista, local high school mountain bike teams. I just had so much admiration for the coaches and the programs. But yeah, even on those programs, there's a lot of guys that are showing up for these cross country, to work out and cross country training. They've got like 160 mil travel. They got these big, heavy enduro bikes, right? That's why they're there. A lot of them. I think it's a very small percentage that are out there for the pure cross country endurance feel of it. That's just an anecdotal evidence, but I think that a lot of people just show up just because it's a chance to ride on a team and they're there for a different reason. So
yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, I see
So
that like up in
you win all cross country. You joined the dark side.
yeah, pretty much. Because like yeah, I had that 24-inch and I rode it all through eighth grade. And then, yeah, I think it was freshman year, I hopped on like my mom's 29-inch mountain bike or something. It was like 2 sizes too big. But I
Yeah.
rode that pretty much until I was on Bear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, like I know when I was younger, I had a buddy of mine who lived in a neighboring town. It was like 15 miles away. I'd ride my BMX bike over there, and then we'd ride all day, and then I'd ride my BMX bike home. And I didn't even think it wasn't
Uh,
like anything like I'm doing this big ride or anything. It was just like, hey, that's what I'm doing. And he would do it too. He would come out to Livermore and we'd ride jumps all day and then he'd ride home. And so yeah, it's interesting. You could put it like in BMX, it's like you're having so much fun and whatever. You're not really thinking about it like a workout necessarily, although some people do. It's a
Yeah.
generalization, but then when you get into those skills translate so well, you already got that motor because you're used to pedaling single speed with little wheels, all
Yeah.
over the place. And then all of a sudden you got gears and a bigger wheel. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
so,
cool.
so getting
I probably
selected for Trek, getting selected for Trek, this is a big deal, right? I mean,
Yes. So the Trek, yeah, it's now called Bear National Team. They're still pretty much like the top junior uh cross country race team. Like they've already gatewayed a ton of people, to being Olympians essentially. Like Julia, she pretty much helped out with like Kate Courtney, and now with like Riley Amos and Bjorn Riley. Like those are my
Mhm.
friends who I raced with, and yeah, those kids are on one's on Trek Factory, the other one's on a Trek pretty much pro team over in Europe. So she's trained,
all
yeah,
right.
some fat kids off of that team.
And
Yeah.
how long did you do that for?
So I was on that team doing cross country racing from sophomore year to my senior year till 2020 COVID. During that time, yeah, pretty much, yeah, raced wherever with them. Few trips to Canada. That was really fun because over in Canada they have really good cross country courses, not like here.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just super technical, just huge. Like I wasn't used to riding like slippery routes. I've never ridden them, and I was like, oh, you just go faster and aim for the top, and you just like go right through it. And I just loved racing and riding up there,
Yeah.
just on the technical courses. So I kind of got like some decent results at those type of races. Um, then yeah, then once when like 2020 hit, I was just like, I just wanted to race so bad, and there was just like no races happening.
Yeah.
And then it's
Approach
like,
me.
well, I'm just gonna. My coach at the time, he's like, oh, like you should just ride for fun. We don't know how long this is gonna be. It's gonna run through summer probably. Like, let's look into next year. I think that should be our plan. We don't want you to get burnt out. Let's look into next year, starting fresh in like 2021. Just
Right.
ride the season off before it even started. But in the meantime, I was just building trails and building jumps, and it's like I don't really want to cross country race anymore. Like I just want to ride my bike and have fun. So then yeah, after yeah, I kind of transitioned that year from full blown cross country race to just doing what I want, I guess, what I really want to do. That's just
I
ride my
don't,
bike and have fun.
I don't want to keep backing up, but here you are, you're a high school kid, you're traveling while most other kids are stuck at home doing algebra and geometry. You're traveling, right?
Yeah,
Showing up at races. You must have felt like a rock star, right? Like you getting off this, you kept coming out of the team van or something like that. I mean, it must have been hell of an experience to be racing at that kind of level, right?
yeah, like it's pretty cool. Like, is there like I always just thought it was just like a cool experience and stuff. And like I was just stoked to show up to the locations and ride. Like I wasn't even super excited to race. I was more excited to get invited to go to these places I've never been to ride. That was kind of like the biggest thing for me was just being there. It was like so cool. Like I feel like I'm not a super like competitive person as far as like on the racing side. Like it's just kind of like I'm there, I'll do my best, the best I can. But I just enjoy just riding and just new stuff and being there. That was the coolest part for me. But yeah, then like those trips to Canada, they were like fully with like Team USA cycling and stuff. Like they were trying to get me, Riley, and Bjorn on that kind of Olympic slash World Cup kind of path, which is really cool too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
COVID fucked everything up.
Yeah, I did.
Well, and like you said,
It's for the better for me, maybe.
right. Maybe it
Wow.
worked out in the end, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you said, you weren't really as motivated on the racing side. And if they're trying to push you into this, I mean, that would be fun, I would think. You would also be guaranteed more travel if you got on that same track. But
You
if
gotta really
like
love
you
it.
said, if you really want to ride and have fun, takes priority over like I want to be the best and win.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a distinction. But as somebody who's ridden and raced bikes my whole life, it's like the cool thing about cycling is I think that there's so many things, but one thing is, you can go in and out of racing. uh, you don't have to, you know, every year you don't have to be put all these races on the schedule and go do races. If you're not feeling it, like I've gone through patches of 2 or 3 years where I didn't even race a single race. And then the next year I might race 9 or 10 times, and then just somewhere in between. It's just kind of, you have so much flexibility within the sport to do whatever you're motivated to do and have fun on a bike. Clearly, if you look at your social media, you're having a lot of fun on the bike. So that's cool. Yeah, it translates. So who films all that stuff?
So like my best friend, he's a professional filmer. He literally just went full time just a month or two ago.
Okay.
So this last year, he filmed for Santa Cruz Hit Squad. So they're Santa Cruz's endurance, pretty much lifetime Grand Series crew with Keegan
Okay.
on it.
Yep.
So he got that gig last year, which was pretty cool and kind of like an eye opener for him. He's like, wow, I actually got like we've always like our whole Central Coast has harassed him like, dude, you're like the best filmer, you know. But
Yeah.
like kind of last year, he's like, wow, I could like make this a career now. He's about my age as well. He's 20.
Oh,
Um,
great.
and now, yeah, this last couple months, he quit his job of he was doing media stuff for a local bike company. But now he's already got the calendar book, going to do some like cool jobs and stuff. So then
Yeah.
also there's a local high school kid. He just got a camera, and we've been just doing short little stuff. Everything else is honestly just iPhone, just by myself or whatever it is. Just kind of
Okay.
got stuff myself. I hate bugging people
Yeah.
for that, but
So do you do the editing and everything too when you do you piece them together or you just kind of just get like a raw clip and just post it just as it is?
no, yeah, no, I do everything myself. Like it's not I don't do anything crazy or anything, I feel like, but I just piece everything up together and just that like everything on my Instagram pretty much all edited and done by me, I guess.
Yeah.
Just stack stuff. It's kind of weird though, because like in the past year, I've learned to like cut out stuff that doesn't need to be in. Like I think something's cool, and I'm like, then it just makes the video too long. People don't have long attention spans on
Uh-huh.
social media, so you just gotta get to the point and cut them short. But it makes the videos kind of more fun. I feel like so it's just fun creating just random edits and stuff. Not trying to like impress or do anything crazy. It's just like what I like to do. And I try to make all my clips kind of like that, just a unique kind of style.
Yeah.
I gotta ask. Let's get off the bikes for a second. So Mike and I are always sitting there like, how do we get this podcast to, go? It's doing great, but how do we get it to go bigger? And it's fucking time, right? Like, where do
Yeah.
you find the time to do this? I do a little sound bite for an Instagram thing, and it takes me like fast forward, rewind. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Where do you find the time to do this? It's cool.
Uh,
Really cool.
like just the time for like making the videos and stuff.
Yeah, you go and shoot. Yeah, you do your ride and someone shoots your videos. Now you got to go do some editing. How much time does that take?
You might be mad at me. It's really quick. I feel like at least
Yeah, well, that's
like I
good. I think
yeah
that's
I'll
better.
go. Yeah, like I just chop it up really quick. Like I literally did 40 minutes worth of not even maybe 30 minutes worth of filming this morning for a reel that I'm gonna post in a week or two. And yeah, it literally was like 30 minutes worth of writing, stacked some clips really quick, and then I edited that in probably 10 minutes.
All right.
like everything. Yeah, like I don't know how many videos I have, but just 30 minutes worth of riding stuff, just short iPhone clips, deleted whatever, cut it, and yeah, it just took like 10 minutes.
So,
Yeah.
okay, let me ask another question. So maybe it's a chicken and egg thing, but are you saying I'm going riding and I'm gonna film what I'm riding, or are you going out to film something and so you ride so that you can film something? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of one thing because like I try to train as much as I can, and like try not to film and stop a lot when I do ride because like time's kind of valuable sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like there are certain days like if we're gonna actually like have the camera out, like it'll be just to film. We don't do much riding or messing around. It's just like get the clips and like get
okay,
the locations and spots, like shoot through it. Then there's some rides where I'm just by myself and it just starts. I'm like, whoa, I hit that really sick. And then I literally just put my phone on the ground and
Yeah.
get it clipped. The next I'm like, I got hit this section and this section. And then I have like 5, 6 clips that I can use by just filming myself.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's a skill just like anything else, right? So the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more efficient you get at it. I know we had Jeff Lenoski on. We were talking to him. He's got the Trail Boss Academy, and he puts out a lot of content. And he had a similar thing where he had somebody filming him, but he does a lot of his own stuff now, and he's doing a lot of his own editing too. He travels quite a bit in his van, from station to station, whatever the show is or event that he's going to. And so he's able to work on it in his van, and get his clips together. But yeah, that's one of the big challenges of, living in this space. Like, you're an ambassador for Giant. Part of that, you have to create these videos, or just be active on social media. That's a big part of being an ambassador, and getting efficient at it definitely gives you more time to ride. So that's good. Yeah.
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 And what's kind of funny too is like just like because the only like good platform I have is just like my Instagram account, as far as like my riding. But like realistically, like I would say like 80% of my rides aren't that.
Uh-huh.
like like the past like few months I've just been trying to train a lot for enduro. This next season I'm literally the only thing I'm doing this year is going to be enduro racing.
Okay.
That's just I've never had a full focus season like that. So like recently it's just kind of training rides just on the road or gravel, and then doing like some pretty like hard days on the enduro, whether they're long or just scaring myself on the downhills, trying to be faster the last couple months.
Yeah.
So that's
so
just been my focus this year.
as part of that transition, you didn't want to do cross country, you got into building trails, and now you're more enduro minded. Is that the transition?
Pretty much, yeah. So after I quit cross country, I still kind of had that endurance there. So I would do gravel, I would do enduro mostly, then dual slalom as well. For like my 3 disciplines I did 2021 and on, pretty much. Just those 3 disciplines and just riding all the bikes pretty
Yeah.
much.
Right.
So
Were you on a team then, or was that you just riding unattached, or
yeah, so when I told Julia like the Bear Trek team, I wanted to race enduro and just kind of do events that I wanted to do. She kind of let me. She still supported me for the next year, but not for cross country, for enduro racing, which was really cool because that honestly helped me a lot because that was my first year ever of doing enduro. But she
right?
still supported me. I was still on the Bear national team, but it was just I raced enduro only, which was a really cool offer. First time they've ever done something like that.
Yeah, right, right.
That kind of helped me out, and like I figured out a lot in that first year. Then the second year, I was just kind of on my own and had to find some like just small sponsors and stuff. Like I literally didn't have anything that second year of enduro racing,
Mhm.
and I still had to learn a lot. But I put together like a really like solid season, I'd say, in my opinion. So I was racing the U21 like junior pro class, so not quite elite level. So the 2 years I did enduro was just U21 pro, But that second year I did like really good, had some really solid results. 1 point off from like winning the overall in the California Enduro Series.
Oh man, nice.
Um, but I went to North American Enduro Cup, did super well there. Then I collected a lot of like UCI points or EWS points during that year. So then I went over to the East Coast and raced the EWSs there because there was actually some in North America, and that trip was really fun and cool. Then I had some offers and stuff and things in the works with Giant somehow got involved, and it was just
Mhm.
like then I did all that last year with Giant.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, with your background in, starting in BMX, then transitioning to cross country and just being a trail slayer, just in general, I mean, enduro makes the most sense if you look at your skill set. Um, the thing about enduro that kind of that strikes me is the level of rider is really high. I feel like that's like the best trail riders generally are racing enduro. And the margins are so tight, it's like you put in this work you have to be fit to get to from station to station and whatnot, but the separation between the times on these descents it's so small. How do you navigate the risk reward with that? I mean, how much like are you walking the tracks, or do you spend time watching the other riders, or do you just like start hitting it and then kind of try to figure out how do you approach it?
well, let me guess.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
before we do that, Devin, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, so the switch hasn't gone off yet, Mike. He's not.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, I'm
Oh yeah,
invincible.
I don't have to think about any of it. I just hit the
Yeah,
thing and it all works
Yeah.
out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
just wait till you're 25, dude.
No, you're still flying at 25. Come
Yeah,
yeah,
on, he's
go
got a
ahead.
good 8 or 9 years left.
I'm sorry, Devin. Go ahead.
yeah, like when I like in the enduro races and stuff, most of these races you only get to ride the trail once
Yeah,
before you get to actually race it. So you got to really learn a lot when you are on course.
yeah.
Um, you only get one run, then your next run's literally race pace because there's five or anywhere from like 5 to 8 downhills usually,
Hmm.
which is and these downhills are anywhere from 3.5 to 10 minutes sometimes. So 3.5 to 8 is usual. And like say if there's a gnarly section or something, what I'll usually do is like take a look at it, like kind of see the line, like what would be the safest line, like actually stop because usually at the courses there's everyone gathered at the gnarly part or whatever.
Yep.
In those sections, like I'll stop, look at the line, but I really won't watch anyone else hit it, and I'll like go all the way back up to or just go up to the top. So I hit it into speed, like hit it with speed and just do the line. And usually what I found like with enduro is like if you once when you've ridden it that line like once and fast, like that's going to be your race line because you're going to be hitting that during the race like 190 whatever beats per minute just dying. So it's
Yeah.
like you can't have some crazy fancy line or like you just got to ride whatever you feel is most comfortable.
So,
I feel like the
so
biggest thing, but hit it with speed obviously.
Yeah.
okay, so ignorance here. So they is that just the general practice? Is it's they give you one shot? I mean, if you look at and maybe this is a silly example, but you go to a NASCAR race or a IndyCar open wheel race, and they're there days in advance going around a fucking oval, right?
Yeah.
Getting used to a
Yeah.
course. You know what I mean? And now they're saying, okay, all right, dude, you got one shot at this to practice, then you got a race. So was it
No, yeah, so there's like technical sections, whether it's a drop or just like a super rocky, gnarly section. You can ride it as much as you want. You can ride it all day if you wanted to.
oh,
But for me, like
okay.
I'll ride it once and like
I thought
hit
you
it
said you
at
only got
speed though, like
yeah.
the first time I hit it. And then if I'm not feeling comfortable, if it didn't feel perfect to me, I'll hike back up and hit it another time. But I don't like to give it like a lot of tries and you start overthinking it and then you'll be
Okay.
overthinking it on race day. I like
Yeah.
to like say if there's like a big gap jump or a big drop that's like the A line or whatever, And if I'm afraid to hit it, I'll just try to be like, I'm not going to hit that. Or I'll just hit it like with confidence and just do it, just know
Uh-huh.
it's, I got to do it. So,
Yeah, plus you don't
uh,
want to get all clapped out the day before your big race. There's
yeah,
definitely a danger element to it. So in a sense, if you're really going to take a chance, you want to take that chance on your race run and hope it works out as opposed to taking a chance on a practice
practice.
run,
Then
Yeah.
breaking your bike, that's the biggest thing with enduros, just parts
Yeah.
breaking. So
Yeah.
yeah, just try not to get a flat, and that just causes more chaos into your practice schedule. Because
Right.
sometimes it's hard to even make all the stages at some of these races, like the big longer races. You
Hmm.
gotta like be on the move all day, like not take long lunches, like not stop on trail for a long time and ride something. Like you gotta go through all your stages, that way you could get back to your car, whatever fits the bike, clean it, eat, rest. Because it kind of sucks having a big, long, however many hour day before the actual race day. So I usually just like to breeze through the courses pretty, like climb up as slow as I can. But then, yeah, just breeze through and just get to the next stage. And if there's something technical, I'll stop, look at it for a second, and then rewrite it maybe once or twice. Um, that's just
Yeah.
kind of like my process. Everyone's way different because I know a lot of fast guys who do the same thing as me, but there's more fast pros who will literally like observe a section, watch people ride it over and over. So I think everyone's different. Like there's not a good or bad way to
Hmm.
pre-riding these stages. It's
Yeah.
just what you want to do and what you feel like is going to be the best for you on race day.
So
Yeah. It's
geographically challenged. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's part of the magic of the whole thing is like everybody looks at it. Not everybody looks at a trail differently, but there are those that do find different lines that, and a lot of times that could be the difference in a stage where
Mhm.
somebody just clips it different, and nails it, and that's the difference in their run. So that's
Yeah,
part of the race, really, is how you mentally decide how you're going to handle all the different terrain in your
yeah,
way. Yeah. So do you have your whole schedule for this year mapped out?
yeah. I do.
Yeah. So how many enduros are you planning on doing?
Uh, I have it in here. Probably like I think I'm doing like 9 enduro races this year.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm only doing 2 slalom races I know of. So I'm going to do Sea Otter, which is going to be the hardest one. So I'm going
Yep.
to do Sea Otter, then the Straight Acre Slalom. It should be in Big Bear this summer, and then that's it for slalom, unless more pop up, which I hope they do. And that's all
Yeah.
I know of. And then for enduro, I'm doing TDS Enduro in the North American Enduro Cup in Idaho.
Okay.
Then I'm doing the full California Enduro Series this year. So I'm not going
Okay.
to do any of the big mountain enduros this year. Uh, Probably next year, depending how I do this year. I'll look more into like doing the BME or going overseas and doing like different stuff because there's a lot out there, like
For sure.
different stage races. I've seen some thick ones in New Zealand. One of my friends went to. Like there's so many different races to do. A lot up in Pacific Northwest as well.
Yeah.
Just this year is
So
just kind of yeah, just do another learning year, because I feel like I'm at a big step up from last year. So it's just kind of like see what I can do at the spots that I hit. So
Yeah.
exposing myself as a roadie, what's the difference between the California Enduro Series and not doing the Big Mountain Series? And listen, I'm going to fully admit that I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah,
California, obviously, I've heard of it, right? But I'm
yeah.
guessing a lot of people are going to listen to this, and we can't assume that everyone knows that. So, where will you be racing in California, and what won't you be racing
Yeah.
by not going to the other one?
Yeah. So the California Enduro Series is more just kind of like West Coast. So you get a lot of guys in California. It's going to be the majority, some from Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, just the surrounding states.
Right.
And they have 5, 6 races during the summer. And then the Big Mountain Enduro Series is a little bit more of an elevated series. So they have, I think, only 4 or 5 races during summer, but they're all over the country. So there's like one in Utah, Missouri. I think there's one in Arizona or New Mexico this year. So they go across the country a little bit more. So it's a lot
And
more money to get to those type of races if you're going for the series.
and
Yeah.
where are they in California? Mammoth, North Star, like where
None. I don't think there's any big mountains in California this year.
no, where's the Enduro California
Oh,
Enduro?
the California Enduro Series. So there's Georgetown, China Peak, Ashland, Oregon. There's one in Dodge Ridge, which is a new event,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, there's a couple that I'm missing. North Star,
Okay.
so it's just kind of bike parky style.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really interesting when like you brought up dual slalom and there's only two. And if you go to Sea Otter, I've been going to Sea Otter for 20, I mean, since the very beginning. The biggest event at Sea Otter, the best spectator experience at Sea Otter is dual slalom.
Yep.
Everybody just piles on the mountain. It's electric. It's better than a bike party. It's just like, it's hard to
It's
describe. There's
best.
so much
Yeah,
excitement happening there. And if you could capture if you can capture that much excitement in that one type of event, it makes you wonder, like, why are there not more dual slalom events around the country?
yeah,
It's baffling to me. And really, if the sport, like, there's mountain biking on TV, and there's some fringe. Obviously, Rampage is on
Mhm.
TV, which is amazing. But if there was like a legit dual slalom series, I think that would be our greatest chance at really taking the sport of mountain biking mainstream, even though it is like a super niche within the sport. It's the best spectator experience in the sport, and I think that's something that could really take us to the next level. Like, I don't know why X Games or some of these other, the Do Tour or whatever, when that was around, it's like, that's a great opportunity. I just feel like it's just missing. It's not that hard to build two tracks that are
So,
damn near the same.
so I'm
Uh,
kind of with you. I think I'm
yeah.
surprised it's not an X Games or the Dew Tour, but do you think it's because it's so novel at Sea Otter that that's what they look for? If you did it every week, like, would people not be interested, or
Like in my opinion, it's kind of a few different things. For one, like Sea Otter's pretty much unofficial worlds.
Right.
For dual slalom, like you have every factory guy pretty much there who races downhill and is into slalom, and racers are there, to be there
Yeah.
with their team to pick up all their new bikes and all that sort of stuff. So you get such a huge like the top like 30, 40 guys in the pro field of the dual slalom at Sea Otter is stacked. Like you
It's
get some
insane.
top guys who
Yeah.
don't make it. Like factory guys don't make it, Like
Yeah.
you gotta be in that top 16, I think, and it's just brutal. Like if you're in that top 16 and make it to that finals round, like that's a win. Like that's my goal for this year or the rest of my life until I make it to the
Yeah.
top 16. Like
Yeah.
that's just the overall goal, and it's just so hard to be in that top 16 at Sea Otter. And Sea Otter is known as just being the best like dual slalom around. I remember a couple of years ago they had a really crappy course build, and people, were like, "Hey, this isn't cool." Like I was really disappointed. Like it was just a really bad course. And then
Yeah.
this last year, they stepped up the course game. Kyle Stray did, and it was just like, okay, now we're good again. Like
Yeah.
everyone was into it, and everyone watched and thought it was awesome. Um, but yeah, I don't understand why there isn't a series. There was recently a slalom race I went to this last year in Santa Cruz called Team Old Soil put it on. It's just a small little area with a sick dual slalom course, and the event was insane. Like all the racers were having fun. They had food trucks, kind of like it was just an epic event. Like it was like I don't want to call it baby theater, but like there was way less people, but like the vibe and the atmosphere was like above that. Like
Yeah.
they had like a movie showing that night, and like it was just so cool. And it's just like you need more of that. I feel like.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree. I agree. We need more dual slalom. If you're out there
yep,
listening,
yep,
you got some time on your hands or you got some ideas, let's go. Let's build a dual slalom series. I think it would
yeah,
I think it would be huge. I know enduro is like the big trend in mountain biking, but I think with dual slalom, I think there's a real opportunity there, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
it just brings a lot of like talented riders, but like a kind of the big drawing because it could be downhill, enduro, BMX, dirt jumpers. Like it brings so many different types of riding,
yep.
but like everyone's cool in their own kind of style, and no one's like it's not super competitive either because it's just like I'm just trying to go as fast as I can down this lane, and it's
Yeah.
not like a huge deal. Like it never feels like really competitive. It's just
Yeah.
a fun, and it's fun to watch. That's for sure.
Hey,
Like
you
if you
can
get
even do it.
knocked
Oh,
out,
go
it's
ahead.
still fun to watch, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you could even do it on a recumbent.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Last year with Maurice.
Mhm.
And was it Kyle Strait? Did Kyle do it one time? It was Kurt and somebody
It was
else.
Kurt, yeah.
Yeah. But that was just hilarious, you know?
Oh, yeah, I know the other guy. Yeah, he's from the East Coast. He was on one too.
Oh,
Or the
okay.
60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
But that was like just goofiness. But everybody, again, it's just like adds to that
Part of
party
the vibe.
atmosphere. Yeah. The
Yeah,
vibe
part of
was,
the vibe.
it was great. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
So, so Devin, you're a giant ambassador. So we've been talking a lot about mountain biking, but I heard you mention road and gravel. So I'm guessing you do a lot of that for and represent Giant in that case, but not to be a Giant commercial. But let's debunk the myth, right? So you said that you have to do a lot of training. I would imagine enduro and even the dual slalom, you've got to be physically fit to get this thing done. So it can't be that, I saw what was that poster? There was that running meme that you said is like they had the skinny road bike guy, then they had this guy, the gravel guy,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And as you went up the list and got to the e-bike, you started going to the mountain bike and to the e-bike. They got their belly was sticking out and they were, cans of beer. And I just think it's
Okay. You
kind
heard
of
it
a
here. Dave
bullshit.
just called mountain bikers fat, just for the record.
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying
Especially
No,
like
that's what just
e-bikers.
happened. Oh, okay.
it was a meme. I'm debunking the myth
Oh,
here, right?
okay. All right.
Look, I thought we were friends, Mike. Fuck you. Man, now I'm gonna get like people are gonna toilet paper my house.
Yeah.
They're
Is
gonna
that still a
boycott the
thing?
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, they're gonna boycott the podcast, call me a roadie. But you got to be, I mean, you
True.
got to use those other things to get physically fit, right? I mean, you got to be at the top of your game to do this, right?
Yeah, like it's just nice knowing, like, say if it's a big day, like a big race day, and that means it's going to be a big practice day a day or two before the race. It's just nice knowing that you have that endurance with you, where you could put in those days and not even be stressed about being tired. That's like the main
Uh,
thing why I do so much like road and gravel. Well, I enjoy riding long distances still and just riding. Which is nice. But like, yeah, when you show up to a race and it's like everyone's like, a lot of the enduro guys are like, "Oh my god, this sucks! It's climbed to 2,000 feet." Oh, and it's just like I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that
Whatever.
means the downhill is going to be long.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Like longer the downhill for me, I actually do better. Just yeah,
It's such
right.
a huge uh tool to have that in your bag, like the confidence of knowing that, like, hey, I'm racing today, but I've done stuff way bigger and harder than this, and just in training or preparation. I know on the roadside, or like I do some cross racing, and sometimes you get into these times where you're fatigued near the end, and it's you and maybe two or three other people, and just knowing that I put all this work into it, it just gives me, like, even if I don't win, I still have the confidence that I can win and that I should win, because
yeah,
I put the work in. And so it's just so much of racing is mental, and knowing that you have it, uh, that's a big part of it, And so,
yeah,
yeah, it's nice to have these different bikes too. Like you could certainly be in the same condition that you're in now with just one bike, with a mountain bike. And if you were just very diligent and persistent about, but it's so nice to be able to switch it up and, like, hey, today I'm gonna go ride road with a different group of people that I really like, and I'm gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be a hard day, but a different kind of day. And then the next day you're on the 160 bike, and riding with the bros, and you're gonna go shred some gnar or whatever. And and then in between there you got the gravel bike. So yeah, it's cool that you
Yeah, I
mix it
mean,
up.
my experience with the mountain bike team here was that there was, there's a pyramid, right? You got the people that are there just to participate. And then as you work your way up, they get a little bit more competitive. And at the top of the thing were the best kids on the team that actually went out and in addition to the mountain bike coach, got a personal trainer, right? And the first thing they would do is say to these guys, great, go get a road bike, so that you are out building a little bit more endurance. So I think it's part of it. Yeah, Mike's right. You could do it just by running hot laps up and down Mount Diablo or whatever your favorite trail is. But yeah, I think it just gives you that confidence and builds that much more endurance.
Yeah, I think it also helps out with like avoiding burnout, because I ride at least like five, six
Yeah.
times a week. And
Yeah.
it definitely just prevents like burnout. Like I go through phases where I'm like riding the road bike 3 days a week, then I don't touch it for even a month.
Yeah.
Then I'm just riding my trail bike and slalom bike. Like it just helps like prevent burnout, but you're still, yeah, training and riding. So
Yeah.
Right. Trail riding
Yeah.
too is it's a little seasonal too, because the trails get clapped out or dry. There's certain times where trail riding is like awesome. And then it gets progressively less awesome until pretty soon it's just like, it's so clapped. You're just like, what am I even doing out in this sand pit? It's like, so
yeah,
it's nice to be able to take those times and just focus on something else and then
That
come
yeah,
back to
that's
it when.
where that's where I am right now. I walk out at, with the trails have been so much rain. I haven't been on a gravel bike in a long time. I walk in the garage and I look at my bike and I go, I wonder if it misses me like I miss it, right?
I don't think so.
Because yeah, probably not. Probably not. No, don't.
Yeah.
But I'm literally on this road bike and on the trainer so much. I'm like, I need to Devin's point. I gotta switch it up. I gotta do something different.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of the trainer, do you use the trainer at all, Devin? Do you get on Swift at all?
I've never, no, never had Swift or I did a trainer maybe like 1 year. It was raining so much when I was doing cross country,
Yeah.
but like never touched it since I was
Yeah.
like 14 or 15 or whatever.
Yeah. I
So,
did it when I was younger. I was doing BMX, and then so one summer or one winter rather, we rode the trainer, like did this extensive hardcore. Like we had a guy that I was working with that was a coach. And so we were doing trainer sessions at night at the bike shop. We had
mm,
three of us, we'd line it up and we'd do intervals and we'd crank up the music and everything. And then when the summer came around, it was like, I don't know if I even want to ride anymore. I was
yeah,
so,
yeah,
I was so smoked from all those trainer workouts, but now
yeah.
the trainer with Swift, it's kind of like
Video
video
game.
game. Yeah, it's pretty
different world.
fun. I'm into it. And it's certainly like, I don't have I mean, our weather here in NorCal is pretty great, but it's not as good as where you're at. And so and I ride super early in the morning. And so it can drop into the low 30s in the morning, sometimes even not this year. It hasn't been in the 20s, but I've ridden outside when it's been in the 20s, and that sucks. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, so I'll just hit the trainer for a couple months when it's super cold and wet, and then I'll get back. Then I just turn it off for the whole summer, you know. But it's a good tool, and if you just want to do the work, there's a lot of options there. You want to just set up. They've got all these interval training things that are put together by GCN, and then there's all kinds of mountains you can climb or races you can race. It's pretty dope. But yeah, if you're getting along without it, that's a
yeah.
good track.
So,
Yeah.
good on you.
Yeah. It's good to be on that Central Coast.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta usually ride before work, so I'm always my morning rides are like 6:30 start time, as
Yeah.
much as I can before work. Then there's a few days a week where I just come into work late, like coming at like 11, so I could do a long, like 2 days a week. I do like a long ride before work, so
Nice.
that's helped out a
That's
lot too.
what arrows are in your quiver? What bikes do you have? What bikes do you ride?
Oh boy, uh, got a TCR. I just sold my Revolt and got a Revolt X. Then a STP, which is Giant's Dirt Jumper. It's like an 8-year-old frame because they haven't made it since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
27.5 Trans X. That's a size medium for slalom. Trans X 29. I ride that one probably the most. It's just a all rounder. The Transat, that's just
Yeah.
good for everything. Then I got a Rain for the Enduro. I think that's it. Quite
Just
a
six
few.
bikes. Just
Yeah,
six. That's all.
yeah. So that's all of them. I think.
I always crack up when there's like this saying in the bike business of one bike to slay them all. I who wants that? Nobody
Yeah,
wants that. You know, it's
yeah,
like give me a bunch of different bikes, man. I want to have fun and have these different experiences, not try to do it
yeah,
all on one bike, you know?
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I sound like a broken record, and I use this all too often. But when I start getting those dirty looks from my wife, I'm like, you come from a golfing family. There's 13 clubs in the bag,
Yes.
right? They all serve a different purpose. But she does it for some reason. It's just not resonating the way I think it should.
Man, if
So
you could
I'm
get your bike count up to 13, that's doing
right
some
on.
work right there. That's legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But
That's
yeah, I'm
cool.
stuck at 5 right now. So
All right. Well, listen, you mentioned a Rampage. Obviously, that's the biggest event in our sport, right? In terms of media coverage,
yeah,
everybody's familiar with Rampage. Even a roadie like Dave, he knows what Rampage is. Uh,
Red Bull
but
Rampage.
yeah, Rampage is I have kind of mixed feelings about Rampage because I've, obviously Paul Bass, suffered that really bad injury and it's so high risk, but it is
yeah,
so exciting. And
yeah.
you mentioned like that was something that motivated you when you were younger. Do you have a goal of doing that at some point, or has that kind of hit the back burner at this point?
No, like I definitely still want to like ride that type of stuff. Not maybe like the stupid shoot to the top, but like the bottom jumps and all that type of stuff. Like it's something like I want to go out and ride. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to do a trip this summer just to ride some of those jumps. But as
Yeah.
far as like the tricks go, I'm not a big trick guy. Like I don't do flips or anything crazy.
Yeah.
So like the trick wise, it's like, oh heck no, I'm not gonna let go of my bars off of the drop, especially if that's
Uh-huh.
insane. Those guys are crazy. Like I'll never be doing that.
Yeah.
But definitely just want to ride that type of style stuff. But yeah, not to compete or anything close to it. But it's
Some,
just so cool to like it's crazy seeing jumps that big in person. Like I just
yeah.
want to hit some jumps that are big, and like the hip jumps, but like some of those drops and the top stuff, it's like, nope, I'm good. I'll
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
That is just crazy, honestly.
I get nauseous watching some of that. Like just watching the skinny trails with drop offs like that. I just like I really do. I get queasy in my stomach just
Yeah,
watching the
especially like
videos.
the spine stuff where it's like drop offs on both sides and you're
Yeah.
on this little tiny thing and you're like dropping off. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Brendog this
insane.
year's line was like that. Brendog
Yes.
on the top ridge. I was just like,
Oh,
I'm like, this is crazy. Like, if it looks this bad on screen, in
yeah.
person, it's
It's
not
gotta
okay.
be just completely bananas. Yeah.
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 Wow. All right. Hey guys, meet my cat Neo. Neo's joined me. So now we have 4 people on the pod right now.
Nice.
So
You're a cat person, huh, Dave?
yeah, I rescued her from the fires. So
Wow, really?
yeah, a couple years ago when they had the big fires up near Sac and all those places. This was some woman was just finding them on the street and bringing them down to local vets, and the vet next door to the shop kept walking in and going, "How about this one?" You're like, "No, I don't want a cat." "How about this one?" Must have gone through 6 of them, and they showed up with this knucklehead, and I'm like, "All right, let's go." So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
You're a bleeding heart, Dave.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, Devin. So I'm curious, how did you get hooked up? I've been with Giant for 22 years and I love it. It's like my second family, and I'd been in the industry a long time before I uh came to Giant. I'd worked for GT and Cannondale and then also in bike shops, But I'm just curious, how did I know our ambassador program, but I'm not sure exactly how were you referred to by an outside rep or did you just know somebody? How did it all come together for you?
Yeah, so I know someone who like works at headquarters. He used to work here at this shop, Main Street Cycles. Robert Hatch.
Oh,
So he
okay.
helped Scott, yeah, back in the day with a lot of stuff. And
Yep.
then like Robert's always just been a homie and is always like, dude. They finally he was like in a position where he's gone up, since he's been a Giant down at once when he moved to Thousand Oaks, and he was just like, dude, like this is the year, like send me all of your resume, like I want to get you in here, like it'd be super cool. And I was just like, okay, like not
Yeah.
even thinking, just like that'd be cool if it happens. And there was just like a really long process into that year because he tried to get me in early. It was like August or something, so way ahead of time. So like I
Hmm.
almost like forgot about it to a point, or it's just like, if it happens, if it doesn't. And in the meantime, I didn't really know what to do with like racing or what I'm going to do. So I'm still trying to reach out to sponsors. I wasn't really reaching out to really any bike brands, just more sponsors, like just whatever. And yeah, all of a sudden it was like, hey, like I think this might actually work out. Like I get all the emails all of a sudden, hit it once. I was like, whoa, is this for real?
Yeah.
Uh, then the process was like super fast. It was probably like within like a month of just talking, like contract happened and all that. So it was pretty cool. But it's kind of unique because it's kind of weird for me because it wasn't for racing exactly. It was just being an ambassador. Like
Yeah.
you like to ride your bike and you do just about any discipline from what it sounds like. And yeah, just like worked out really cool and nice. And then help out at like bike festivals like Sedona Bike Fest in Arkansas, Bike Fest Bentonville. So it was pretty cool to like do that because I've never been to a bike fest before, like honestly,
Yeah.
before last year. So
I've heard so
totally
many.
different vibe.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about Bentonville. Can you explain like what was your takeaway?
Yeah, everyone asked me, they're like, "How's Bentonville?" And they just smile. Like you're either going to say, "I love it" or "hate it,"
Uh-huh.
because technically it's mountain bike capital of the country, which that's a big name.
Yeah, right?
uh, to say that, like I've been like Bellingham to me is like the best place I've ridden my bike.
Yep.
So like to call it that, I wouldn't say it's the best at all, but like I really liked it just because it's just a lot of jump lines, and so I personally liked it a lot. But like a normal mountain biker, depending on the level of rider that you are, you're either going to like really like it or think it's boring in a few days. So it
Hmm.
just kind of depends of the rider's skills and like what you're into. Versus me, I was riding like 4 full days, like 8 hours, just riding the whole entire town and city and like going past out of town. I ended up on one ride at like some random McDonald's with Ellen because I saw a double black diamond trail on Trail Forks I wanted to ride, and we're zonked out way out of town. But it's just like there's so many like trails though, so it's a really cool spot.
Yeah.
But I
Put it
mostly
in
liked it
perspective.
because it's
Put it in
so
perspective.
fun.
Was a double black really a double black, or is it just a double black for Bentonville?
Double black for Bentonville, but
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so like everything's a lot more mild. If you're in the city, there's a lot of like man-made features and pump tracks and asphalt and stuff, which is really fun to ride. But like it's never like true, true trail rating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one
My
somebody was telling me that it's like Disneyland, like the trails all kind of connect into town, and
Yeah,
then and the town is like all new and shiny. It's like they felt like it was they don't know if it's sustainable, just because it's so like they described it like Disneyland, where it's like, is this fake or is this real? It
yeah.
was kind of like the impression that I've been told. I don't know. What was your take from the town and everything?
No, it's definitely like that. Like it has that vibe to it, but it's kind of okay because like it's nice. Like you could go to lunch, you just park your whatever $10,000 bike outside unlocked, and
Yeah.
you go in and literally eat food and like sit down and you come back out. Your bike's there. There's like no like there's not a ton of like people that would steal your bike there. Nice way to put it. Like it's just like
Yeah.
such a nice like just like you get there and you're just so refreshed to be there. And then everyone there is into outdoors or like obviously into biking. So it's just kind of cool. Like a really cool like break from like a normal bike trip. Because like say you go to Santa Cruz, man, you got like four chains around your bike. You're like
Yeah.
eating your
Yeah.
taco burrito or taco outside in the parking lot. touching your bike. Like it's just a different vibe.
Yeah,
Um,
no
so
doubt.
it's a really cool break from just like something totally normal. But then like I'd rather go somewhere, way out, like say like Mount Shasta or something to ride. Like I honestly rather do something like that where it's just kind of camping away from everyone, just
Yeah,
ride with some friends. Like that's more my type of vibe. But Bentonville's a totally unique area, which I think everyone should like check it out and ride, just because
yeah,
it's totally different.
yeah.
Mike, apropos of nothing, I spoke to Alec Pasqualina yesterday, who was a guest on the show. He lives there now. He just bought a house.
In
Because
Bentonville.
yeah, USA Cycling moved their mountain bike, and he runs the mountain bike program for USA Cycling. I think that's what he does. But he's
Yeah.
now living in Bentonville, so a little early to get his kind of take on it because he's really just been there a couple months. But that's home for him now.
I think we could see
So
a lot more of that too. Yeah.
yeah, and I think though I'm listening to what you're saying. I mean, I think you're right. So you guys kind of move at a different level, kind of that elite level. And you said, some of the stuff that you wrote is not the challenge stuff that you'd want to, but then you got to think about the vast majority of the people aren't at your level, right? And they're
Mm,
probably thinking of this going, okay, I'm not skiing Whistler, but I'm skiing, Dodge Ridge, which is, it's challenging for me at my level. So there's probably a lot of people look at Bentonville going, "This is Nirvana." I don't know. I've never been. I'm just throwing it
yeah,
out there.
like when I went there, like I had some of my friends who are, fast, talented riders, and a couple of them have been there. And they're like, "Why are you going there?" And it's just like, well, I had the opportunity with Giant to go there, but they just like never want to go back.
Oh,
And it's just like, yeah, it's just like I think it's just based on skill level, but there's so many, good riders who actually travel there and then come back not happy. So it
oh,
kind of gets a
right.
bad rap just because of that. But if the majority of mountain bikers went there, they would love it.
Yeah,
But I
there you
feel
go.
like,
That's what I was driving at. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the point I
yeah,
was trying to make. Yeah,
Yeah. I think too, everybody kind of looks at mountain biking a little differently. And like you have a very diverse background in mountain biking, but like I know a lot of the downhill crowd or what have you, they're really focused just on downhill. And if it doesn't have anything that speaks to them in that lane, then that place is not anywhere they're interested in. Whereas, what you got a cross country background, you've got this dual slalom and enduro. You could have fun almost anywhere, probably on just about any bike, and the fact that they're trying hard in Bentonville, I think a rider like you could probably still really have like you said, you were doing 8-hour days, it might not be stretching your boundaries or your limits, but it's still super fun. And to me, like and I'm 57 now, that's the stuff I really like now. It's like when somebody can build a trail where I don't have to risk it all. I can just go hit these hips and jumps and berms and have a good time.
built perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good time for me, But so yeah, mountain bike is different for everybody, but yeah,
Let me ask you another question, just again because I haven't been there. Um, do you think it's also like there's I mean with the Walmart money behind it, there's obviously more to come, right? So is the terrain such that they could actually make those more challenging trails and they haven't done it yet, or it's kind of maxed out because the mountains aren't that big or whatever, or the terrain isn't that tough?
yeah, I almost feel like they're obviously you can make trails a lot more technical. Um, but yeah, the terrain almost isn't there for like a long run. Like everything's pretty short. They could add, in my opinion, a few more trails that are shorter but steeper. Like actually use some of the hills that are already there, but make them less gradual. Because the whole thing, they're trying to make the downhills feel longer than
hmm
what they actually are.
Yeah,
Because they kind of like traverse down because it's like it's such a small hill. Like they have such small hills there. They try to make the downhills last longer, but that means they're less steep.
yeah.
So like if they
Got it.
made just some shorter steep trails, like you could make some steeper, I don't want to say steep, but they'd be short chutes and stuff to make it more technical. But I think the big thing, which would be cool, is like some of the kids out there, like 10 to 13-year-olds, are already hitting the biggest jump lines
right.
effortlessly. Some of them, born there, grew up there, and I would like to see like Bentonville actually spend more money into like big jumps that like these kids could like progress, sort of thing. Like I
Right.
think that would be the next step, is just bigger jump lines for these kids who are like they're already like peaked and bored. You know, they need
Yeah.
some bigger jumps. Then you'd see a lot of really crazy talented either slopestyle kids or mountain bike kids come from there if they have access to jumps that are, you know, professional, big size. Then I
Well,
think
Right.
you would see some cool stuff.
you could see where that might be, chapter two or whatever. I mean, it's all so new there in Bentonville that,
Yeah.
they kind of started with nothing. I mean, Bentonville wasn't a destination, until just recently. And then now, USA Cycling's moving there. So it's like, it's natural to think that there would be a progression there. Hopefully anyway, hope somebody's got their eye on that, I'm sure they do.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So, okay. So, I wanted to ask you, now you have some other sponsors too, right? You have, Volet clothing. I saw you have like your own kit even.
Yeah.
And is that still open for sale? And how did that all come about?
Yeah, so like last year they kind of let me because they're really good with like custom stuff. So they'll do big shop orders, big team orders, pretty much any design they'll make it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so like last year they're like, oh, like we have custom clothing in your contract. I was like, huh, that's kind of cool. So like all the like I came out with two kits last year, or two designs. One's just a basic black with a white logo with all the sponsors. That was the beginning one. I was like, huh, I could do some more, I guess, you know, like I'll design something.
Yeah.
And then I used like the giant blue with kind of like they already had this kind of like textured pattern that was cool. But then I added like paint splatter and changed it around a little bit. And I did it like in giant blue. I was like, I won't be wearing giant blue all the time. Can we do like a tan one too? So then I picked out all the colors for like the tan jersey. And then he's like, these are super sick. Like, this is actually a really good design. Like, we would do super good with this design. I'm like, oh, really? That's pretty cool. And they were like, do you
Yeah.
mind if we just put it on our site, like without the logos and everything? I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think much of it. Then
Yeah. I'll
this,
take $3 off of every item you sell.
Yeah,
It's all
please.
good.
yeah. Then this last year, he's like, hey, what if we just like have your own kind of like collection? Because like you made some killer designs. Like, let's have it like an official sort of thing, where you know you go to the site and there's like TJ Eisenhart has his imaginary collection. The mine's up on there
Okay.
now. But yeah, I did a new design for this year, and it like doing really killer again. So just some like there's two colors out right now, kind of like an off white with a little bit of the giant blue, then another tan option. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool to make those because like this kit this year is like actually like both colorways is like something I really am like stoked on. Like
Yeah.
I was going for like a black where like everyone would buy it sort of thing just to get money or whatever. Like it's more like this is like my design that I really want to do and I've always kind of wanted to do. So yeah, if
Yeah.
you go to the Woolay site, they're up on there in the collection tab or could be almost on the first page since they're pretty new up on there. So
That's pretty cool. You're in good company with, TJ Eisenhower. I mean, that guy's, like a legitimate artist, and then,
yeah.
yeah, and then you got your stuff too. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's funny. He'll text me. He's like, "Dude, this is the sickest design ever." Then I'm like, then like you got kind of got to take a step back. And you're like, "Whoa, that's pretty. Like that's a cool compliment, you know, sort
Yeah.
of thing." But then I do
Yeah.
the same thing to him whenever he releases something. I'm like, "Dude."
Some of his artwork is amazing. I love the
Oh
guy's
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. He's incredible. Well, okay. And then you also have some other sponsors. So why don't you talk about, like you have Deity, I think, and who else you working with?
Goo Energy. So Yuri, he's a giant
Oh, sweet.
ambassador again this year.
Oh, God, we can't get rid of this guy, Yuri, huh? He shows up on every
Who would
podcast.
want to get rid of him?
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
No,
Yuri is
he's
awesome. So I
great.
met him through the Bear Trek team. Since I was a little grum, I was like, Yuri's the goo guy, you know, I always thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And obviously his whole gravel history, like and just being an endurance athlete, like I always thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
But then yeah, he started supporting me when I started doing my own like enduro 2021. He's like, yeah, I'll still send you stuff. Then it's so cool now because he's hooked up with Giant. It's just like super cool because I've known him for so long.
Yeah.
He's super
He's over.
rad.
He's
He's
great.
over
We've
in
had,
Girona right now. He's over in Girona with Jack Ultra Cyclist.
yeah. Yeah. And, we've had both Yuri and his wife on.
Yeah,
Yeah. And both of them have given so much
super
to the bike
people.
business. Yeah. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
really cool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
earn so much and given so much back. They're just great ambassadors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. So,
Okay, who else?
Go ahead.
Who else?
Oh, who else?
Who?
So yeah, DD Components. I always just thought their stuff was rad because I was into dirt jumping, obviously.
yeah.
As a kid, and it's just like that's the Gucciest stuff you could put on your bike. And like for a while, they just gave me like just a code or whatever, get
Mhm.
whatever off. I was like, I'll take it. I don't care,
Yeah.
Like even though then I started working at the shop and I could get it for cheaper. I'm like, I don't care. I like that brand, but now they're helping out like a lot more, which is cool because I've been
That's
with them
cool.
for a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
Justin and Ian over there are rad. Then Matches Tires, they helped me to send pretty much tires my way. Then the cool one this year is X Brand goggles. They're more of a moto company, but they just started. The owner of X Brand, his son just started Dirty Bird, so they make now mountain biking sunglasses as well as like casual glasses.
Hmm.
And the prices of them are a lot cheaper than like Smith or 100% and stuff. And the quality of them's like the lens quality is in like super super nice. They have like a photochromatic lens, I think $100 or something, and it's
Mhm.
really really sick pair of glasses. Um, so yeah, they're great. I'm probably forgetting other ones too at
Yeah.
the moment. Who else?
Put you on the spot, right?
Yeah, the Main Street Cycles, the shop helps me. The
Yeah, I
Lone
was gonna
Wolf
say, let's give a big
suspension.
shout out to them because that's got to be a good shop, a good vibe, and a good owner that lets you just take off and do these races and whatnot. I don't know the dynamics there, but it sounds like you got a lot of flexibility to do something, and a lot of credits got to go to the boss there, I think. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like yeah, he just pretty much lets me like he's stoked that I'm out doing stuff and I'm here most of the time. But yeah, when I do have to take off, like a week at a time or whatever, it's just like they
Yeah.
make it work
In
out.
the middle of
And
summer.
yeah, they're not like pissed off either. They're like, yeah, like they're excited about me going places,
That's cool.
especially with the whole
Good.
giant thing too. Like because we're a giant dealer and it's just like cool, like have me like riding bikes that we sell here, which is I think pretty cool too. Like just selling here at the shop, it's like I ride the TCR, I ride the Rainfall, I got the trans heads and can really
Yeah,
talk about and dive deeper into it. And they
for
help me
sure.
out with like my bikes on service that I can't do. Um, so yeah, it's a really good circle here for sure.
Great. It's
And
All
awesome.
then
right.
yeah, then Lone Wolf Suspension, they're based out of Santa Barbara, but they rebuild suspension. So they're really rad. So they've been helping me out too with just suspension rebuilds. Just really good. The dude like does the best work. It comes back better than new. So
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna wrap it up. We used to do something a while back. I'm gonna bring it back because I'm kind of
Woo,
curious
are we?
myself.
All
Yeah,
right.
so there's no wrong answer here, but this is like kind of pop culture-y. So we want to kind of like see where you land with some of this stuff.
Just spitballing here. So what first
Yeah.
thing that comes to mind?
All right. Hip hop or rock and roll?
hip hop,
Okay. Country or blues?
country.
Hip hop and country. Uh-huh. Okay. Rolling Stones or the Beatles? Now, those are some old references.
I honestly don't listen to either.
That's the right answer. All right. Okay. How about Bruno Mars or Taylor Swift?
I would say neither, but Bruno Mars probably.
Oh man. So you're one of the few people that aren't on the Taylor Swift Nation or whatever the hell they call it. I don't even know what they call them.
I don't even know what's
Swifties.
happening right now. I've
Oh
heard of
yeah.
it.
All right. Talladega Nights or Hangover?
Oh, Talladega Nights.
Yes. I love that one. How about De Niro or Denzel?
Denzel.
Hmm. Again, these references are old. I'm gonna have to
No,
change this
no,
up.
that they're new though. I got to give a shout out to Denzel. Have you seen those Equalizer movies?
Oh yeah, they're so
Oh,
good.
fuck. Oh my God. They just moved way back to the top. But go on. I
Okay.
digress.
Holly Berry or Jennifer Aniston?
I know Jennifer Aniston.
All right. Well, okay. This is getting back to,
Just go watch go rent a movie, Monsters Ball. Then you'll be saying Halle Berry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Endurance or sprint?
Endurance.
Okay. Power or spin to win?
What was that?
Power or spin to win?
Power.
Okay. Okay. Offense or defense?
Offense.
Steph Curry or LeBron?
Steph Curry.
Oh, there we go. I thought for sure you were going to say LeBron.
Nah.
Well, you're Central Coast, so you're not Southern California necessarily. You're closer to Southern Cal than NorCal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Curry, man, he's one of the all-time greats. All right, so is LeBron. Whatever. Okay, 60s or 80s?
80s.
Yeah, you're like, what is the 60s? What even happened in the 60s?
Did
Yeah,
that actually
that
exist?
actually went through my head.
Yeah. Okay, hot or cold?
I learned about that in history.
Yeah,
Uh,
hot or cold?
hot.
Yeah, me too. All right, that's it. You know,
Okay.
that's the list. But we talk a lot about bikes, so it kind of sheds a light on some of the other stuff, in your life. Yeah. So all right, man. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up unless Dave, you got anything else? You look like you want to say something.
No, no. I think maybe we have to come up with two lists, like above 35 and below
Yeah.
35, and see, start
Yeah.
firing the same questions
Yeah.
away. Because this wasn't Stump the Band, and that's sort of
No.
what we did.
Yeah. I realized like there was also AC/DC and U2 in there. And then I added Kid Rock or Kid Cudi. So that's kind of younger person, I think. I don't know. We're just a couple old dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who have to pee a lot.
Yeah. Wait, what? That was a secret. Anyway,
Dang it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Devin. Well, listen, we appreciate you making the time, man. We it's been fun watching your Instagram and all the wild shit that you're doing on the bike, and you just look like you're having fun out there, and yeah, so that's always cool to watch. And
Is it just tell people where they find you on Instagram?
Just my name, Devin Debruhl. So it should be on the podcast or title or whatever. So
yeah,
yep.
and it's a
Sort of
underscore
figure.
Yeah, just underscore.
in between.
Okay.
Yeah, Devin
I
underscore
didn't think
DeBrule.
there were too many Devin rules out there.
Yeah, and
Yeah, not really. That's why.
we'll put it in the show notes about the how to find you and whatnot. So yeah, but we
Sweet.
really appreciate the time, man, and best of luck this year on the enduro circuit. And yeah, keep on shredding.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank
be
you, Mike.
safe, man.
Thanks, Dave.
Kick ass. Nice to meet
Thank you.
you.
You too.